Imagine this scene. Two massive armies are dug in on opposite hills, staring each other down. For over a month, this has been the daily routine. In the valley between them, a tense silence hangs in the air. This isn't just any standoff. This is the army of Israel versus the Philistines, their fiercest rivals. Every morning, like clockwork, a figure emerges from the Philistine camp. But this isn't just any soldier. This is Goliath. He's a giant, not just in reputation, but literally. Ancient texts describe him as being over 9 feet tall. His armor alone weighed more than a grown man. He carried a spear with a tip so heavy, you'd need the hands just to lift it. He strides into the middle of the valley, his voice booming like thunder echoing off the hills. "Why are you all hiding up there?" He taunts the Israelites. "Send one man down to fight me. If he wins, we'll be your servants. But if I win, you'll be ours." Day after day, he issues the same challenge. And day after day, the Israelite soldiers, including their king, Saul, are paralyzed by fear. No one dares to face this champion. The morale of an entire army crumbles a little more with each sunrise. Now, let's switch scenes. Miles away, in the quiet town of Bethlehem, a young man named David is watching over his father's sheep. He's the youngest of 8 brothers, often overlooked. He's not a soldier, he's a shepherd. His days are spent guiding his flock, protecting them from predators like lions and bears. He's strong, quick, and resourceful, but in the eyes of the world, he's just a boy. One day, his father, Jesse, calls him. "David," he says, "your 3 oldest brothers are with the army. I want you to take them some food, this roasted grain, and these loaves of bread. And take these 10 cheeses to their commander. See how your brothers are doing and bring back some news." So David loads up the supplies and heads off to the front lines. When he arrives, the atmosphere is thick with tension. He finds his brothers just as both armies are lining up for their daily, terrifying ritual. And right on cue, out comes Goliath. David hears the giant's arrogant words, the same taunts that have been draining the life out of the Israelite army for 40 days. But David sees something different. While everyone else sees an unbeatable giant, David sees a man defying the God of Israel. And it makes him angry. He turns to the soldiers around him. What's the reward for the guy who takes this man down and ends this disgrace? He asks. They tell him the king will give him great wealth, his daughter in marriage, and his family will never have to pay taxes again. David keeps asking around, his youthful voice cutting through the fear. His oldest brother, Eliab, overhears him and gets furious. "What are you even doing here?" He snaps. "You should be back with those few sheep of yours. I know your type. You just came down here to watch the battle." David is unfazed. "What did I do now?" He replies, "Can't I even ask a question?" He's not there for the spectacle. He's there because he feels a deep sense of injustice. Word of this brave young man asking questions reaches King Saul. Intrigued, the king summons him. David walks into the royal tent and looks the tall king right in the eye. "Let no one lose heart on account of this Philistine," David says with a calm confidence that's almost shocking. "Your servant will go and fight him." Saul looks at him, a boy on the edge of manhood. "You can't fight him," the king says almost gently. "You're only a boy, and he's been a warrior since he was young." This is the moment. This is where David reveals the source of his courage. "Your servant has been keeping his father's sheep," he explains. "When a lion or a bear came and carried off a sheep from the flock, I went after it, struck it, and rescued the sheep from its mouth. When it turned on me, I seized it by its hair, struck it, and killed it. Your servant has killed both the lion and the bear. This uncircumcised Philistine will be like one of them, because he has defied the armies of the living God." He continues, his voice steady. "The Lord who rescued me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear will rescue me from the hand of this Philistine." Saul is moved. He sees a faith that has been tested not in battle, but in the quiet, lonely fields. "Go," the king says, "and may the Lord be with you." Saul then tries to outfit David in his own royal armor. A bronze helmet, a heavy coat of mail. But David can barely move. It's not his. It doesn't fit. This isn't his way of fighting. I can't go in these, he says. I'm not used to them. So he takes it all off. Instead, he walks to a nearby stream. He reaches down and carefully selects 5 smooth stones. He places them in his shepherd's bag. In his hand, he holds his staff and his sling. That's it. That's his arsenal. A stick, a sling, and 5 small stones. David walks out into the valley. Goliath sees him coming, this kid with a staff, and he's insulted. He lets out a laugh that's pure scorn. Am I a dog, he bellows, that you come at me with sticks? He curses David by his gods. Come here, he roars, and I'll give your flesh to the birds and the wild animals. The entire Philistine army is probably laughing. The Israelites are likely holding their breath, thinking this is a suicide mission. But David does not flinch. He shouts back, his voice clear and strong, filled not with arrogance, but with absolute conviction. You come against me with sword and spear and javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. This day, David declares, the Lord will deliver you into my hands, and the whole world will know that there is a God in Israel. All those gathered here will know that it is not by sword or spear that the Lord saves, for the battle is the Lord's, and he will give all of you into our hands. Then David starts to run, not away, but straight toward the giant. Goliath, surprised by this audacity, lumbers forward to meet him. As he runs, David reaches into his bag, pulls out one of his smooth stones, and fits it into his sling. He begins to whirl it, faster and faster, a familiar motion he's practiced 1,000 times. He lets it fly. The stone slices through the air, a tiny projectile against a colossal target. It strikes Goliath right on the forehead, the one place unprotected by his helmet. The stone sinks in. The giant stumbles. He wavers for a moment, a look of sheer disbelief on his face. Then he crashes to the ground, face down in the dirt. The thunderous boom of his fall silences the entire valley. David runs to the fallen giant, who lies motionless. Since he has no sword of his own, David pulls Goliath's massive sword from its sheath and, with it, ends the fight for good. When the Philistines see their champion is dead, panic erupts. They turn and run. The Israelites, who were frozen in fear just moments before, let out a mighty roar and charge after them, winning a decisive victory. And so a shepherd boy, armed with little more than faith and a few stones, did what an entire army could not. He showed everyone that it's not about the size of the giant you face, but the size of the God you trust. It's a story that reminds us that sometimes the greatest strength comes from the most unexpected places. Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, consider subscribing for more stories of faith and courage. We'll see you in the next one.